qualifying here at Lights Out. And Virginia, the winner here in October at No Mercy 12. The winner up there at Maryland at the World Cup. Taking on the OG David Reese.
Not only is a race to see who's going to be number one, but it's going to be a race to see who's number one to the front of the lanes, as both these guys are usually sneaking around the corner saying, come on, come on, come on.
Oh, yeah. Here we go, Manny Virginia, David Reese, first pair out, a Pro 275 here on Wednesday night qualifying. Manny Virginia, he likes the stage last, really taking his time over the left-hand side. And Manny goes first this time. Here we go, top end of the racetrack. 375, 198, Manny Virginia. David Reese, 388, 186. But Manny Virginia, you want some? Come get some. 375 to a 388. Man, oh man, good old-fashioned drag race. Manny Virginia showing why he won here last time out at No Mercy. We're just checking the racetrack real quick, make sure everything's A-okay there.
And Manny Virginia defeated David Reese in Pro 275.
That he did, so kind of a rematch of that final. So once again, Manny Virginia going number one, and David Reese number two. We're checking the racetrack real quick.
A quick check on the top end of the racetrack after had a little poppage there from the Schizo machine wheeled by Mr. David Reese. The tower side of the racetrack, sitting behind the wheel of the Scott Tidwell-owned hot rod, is Mr. Magic Eyes. The Eric Dillard, looking for a run at the Fuel Tech Radial Outlaws Championship, sponsored by a couple of companies there responsible for the performance of the hot rod here in the right lane, Pro line, as well as Scott Tidwell Racing. I said, hey, let's race for our own money here. Said nothing to it but to do it. And we'll get the left-hand side pulled forward momentarily as we're still getting some data entry going on. You know, you can only check and pack so fast, 2 fingers at a time into the old keyboard there, as Wade Mooney is reaching for his pocket piece. Gonna just put me out of my misery here. Once we get everything settled up on the screen by about Q5, we'll be sure to know who is who. Oh, that's who it is. Wooley. Steve Wooley. The 2018 vet with the Pro-Line supercharged power now.
All right, so track is clear, so we're going to fire up the next pair, Steve Wooley and Eric Dillard. Pro-Line power needs both of these machines. So we're going to fire him up and go. Here's the machine of Eric Dillard. Steve Wooley all the make long trek down here from New York. So Maine, Virginia setting the pace right now. So here we go. Maine, Virginia, number 1 at 375 with a 6.
Wooley here, left-hand side. It's always awesome whenever you see the injector head above the roofline of the car. As they got a lot of power, ready to use it, ready to get it on a 275 here. It's pretty much got some of the cars here moving around. Some of them coming up from LDR, some of them coming down from RVW, but it's not just like, oh, we'll go from 315s to 275s, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I mean, it's a difficult time. The 275 tire, totally different animal from the 315, and Dillard and Tidwell, they've definitely got this thing figured out, and part of the Tidwell racing camp there, that's Gargas, and you'll see Gargas driving another car in Pro 275 out of the Tidwell camp. But Mr. Wooley here, this thing is gained a lot of interest there on the internet, so we'll see what they can do. Steve Petty plugs his ears here for the Red Hat Mafia. It's putting a tune-up in it. Ready to go racing for Eric Dillard. Here we go to the top of the street.
There we go, top end. 386 to a 381. Dillard straight down the racetrack. Steve Wooley right behind him. But both of them not quite under the 1 second 60 foot, but right now, your top 4, Bajinga, 375, Dillard, 381, Wooley, 386.1, and David Reese, 388.3. And let's go to the next pair.
Heath Latrell coming at you, Cleveland, Tennessee, the 69 Nova twin turbo Hemi power, longtime Carolina no-time racer, DeHuffa. It's affectionately called here in the left lane, and Wally Farmbarkey. All the way from Barrington, Illinois, the Showtime machine, Aloha Installations. Sponsoring hot rod out there, Steve Roden and the rest of the crew. These guys came all the way down from Illinois last year to check out the old Texas radio ran up there at the Motorplex and said, look, we had a great time, we'll be back. Coming out racing here, a little bit of lights out 13. Just send it. So far this weekend, Pro 275 is Wade Mooney. He's looking at me like a chicken sandwich.
And there we go, Heath Latrell, Wally Farmbarkey. Heath striking the tires. Wally getting out of it a little further down track. 473, 115. He'll go to number 5 spot. Heath will put it on down. 10-10, 62. Off Crowder, number 6.
Eric LaFair. Mr. Eric LaFair. We need you to the tower, please. If you can hear me. To the tower, please. Eric LaFair. To the tower, please. You can also correct me on saying your name right.
I believe it's LaFerriere. So how about Tommy Yeomans and Ziv Hudson? This should be a good one. All right, guys, let's go ahead and burn them. Tommy Yeomans at 70 Pontiac GTO. And McIntyre, Jordan, Ziv Hudson, all the way from Concord, North Carolina, not far from Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Mr. Yeomans back behind the wheel of the GTO there as he had a brief stint behind the wheel of Ted, the Bajinga Hot Rod. May he rest in peace there. As said, all right, I got the GTO fixed now. So we'll go back racing with it here in Pro 275. Doing some fab work there in the pits. Yesterday on it, had some little charge pipe adjustments to make and everything, but rolling going with the staggered turbos, the Red Hat Mafia Tune Hot Rod there in the left lane, and Ziff Hudson. Got my man's John Small out there helping him out. Old Ziffster. Campaigned the Fairmont for the longest time, and then that one went to the race car graveyard there as booth cars, built some boosts. Ziff Hudson is in. Yeomans. Come on, baby. There we go. The beard is in. Ziff Hudson strikes the tires, and Yeomans rolls it out the back door. 270 the middle, 389.
Wow.
208 is the Yeomans hot rod.
I'll tell you what, good solid lap there for Tommy Yeomans as Ziff Hudson was sitting there quite a long time, but Tommy did get in there within the 7 seconds. But how about Tommy Yeomans nearly 10 miles an hour faster than Manny Bajinga, but was about a tenth and a half slower.
Left a whole tenth there as it only went 110 to the 60. That car is definitely capable of running down to the low 10 to the 60. So you say that's a 389. We'll probably call that a 375 once they get a hold of it.
All right, let's go ahead and make the call here after the burnout. X275 brought to you by Pro Charger Precision Turbo to the lanes, please. X275 presented by Pro Charger Precision Turbo. You are needed to the staging lanes at this time. As our next pair, Brylan Holder out of Bakersfield, California, the 67 Chevy 2. Noonan power plant, 521 cubic inches. No information on the left-hand side just yet.
The big old Hartz turbocharger there in the right lane of Brylan Holder. This car, a product of the Gospel. His dad, Roger Holder, had this thing commissioned basically by the Reese brothers. And next thing you know, his kid got a seat in it as Roger started racing the big size Nova more often. And now he said, look, this works out. We can both race pro. We can just come up at the same time. I like it. I'm going to keep footing the bill for it. These Performance Machine are ready to go racing against Paul Gargas. They're in the new to them being Gargas and Tidwell Machine, left-hand side. Bumped in and gone is Gargas striking the tires. Hold. Brylan still sitting there. Now, if he fires up and stays staged, he can make the pass. We're going to get Brylan built some boost and send him here in just a second. That is how it works there. If you have an issue stage, you stay staged, you let her rip, and it counts. Not the prettiest pass.
Dark up here, I can try and bring it up again and see how it
So
goes.
the next pair of cars is going to be the Showtime Machine. Shout out to, I don't know if they're here yet. There's some working boys, but Keith Berry Boulevard down there. Or not Keith Berry, but Ric Flair Boulevard, excuse me. And my man's over here, Mr. Craven Moore. Craven Moore boost here, the Regal machine in the right lane. It's another one of those conversations of, hey man, I really like that car. Is it for sale? Not really. Yeah, but if you was to sell it, what would you sell it for? And then, much like the first conversation that Dustin Jackson had with the DeMarco family, that's how he picked it up. It's the same way that Mr. Moore picked it up. Wrote him a nice little cashier's check, and he said, all right, I got me a supercharged Buick Regal. Why? Just because it looks sweet. And Brian Anderson from Kathleen, Georgia, the 91 Mustang. Gonna get a little bit of alcohol, we'll shove it down the throat. We'll see Brian Anderson. He is one of them guys, kind of the dark horse of Pro 275. The car does not look rowdy by any means as the supercharged machine of Moore here in the right lane burns out. Man, this thing, it is definitely a wolf in sheep's clothing. This hot rod is fast, has made it into the PRI Magic 8 there at No Mercy. So if you were the top 8 qualifier in Pro 275, you got a fast hot rod.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So here we are. Brian Anderson, Craven Moore. Here we go, Brian Anderson and Craven Moore. Still trying to see if they can make a charge. Manny Bajinga's 375.6. Tommy Yeomans is high mile an hour. Over 208 miles an hour right now. Again, X275. You have been called. X275 brought to you by Pro Charger Precision Turbo. To the lanes at this time. So here we go. Moore's in. Anderson is in. Wheels up there. Brian Anderson top end of the racetrack. 399, 194 for Craven Moore. Anderson 455, 152 as Anderson getting out of the groove a little bit. For Craven Moore goes the number 6 spot. Brian Anderson number 7.
Shoo! 399, 194 for the Craven Moore team. They're going to be happy with that one as they have not been able to get that thing go more than 3 feet in like 17 passes. They got a handle on that hot rod right there, but Showtime showing out there for Ric Flair Boulevard, a little double Willis. And Motor City Jimbo coming at you from Lenox Township, Michigan, the 68 Camaro. We need to change that tech card because my homie said no more nitrous for me. I'm going Pro Charger. And my man's talked to him. He said, look, you know, the scary thing is the cheapest part of switching over to Pro Charger was buying the engine. After that, it was a lot. But he's been happy, and he got a little internet smack talk going on there with Little Country, and it's kind of a good thing they didn't lock in because Little Country jumped on him and said, look, I want you the first couple of rounds there at U.S. Street Nationals, and it didn't work out well for Country, but Motor City put out some 380s like it was nobody's business. And old Bud here, Brad Tyson coming at you, another Michigan in the 93 Mustang, and he's finally got some bead locks on this thing as it had weld drag lights forever, and that's what made this thing sweet, but I do like the new wheels. So Jimbo, he's already in, the boost coming up for Tyson. Oh, Motor City knocks the tire off.
400, 186 for Tyson.
As when he did run the drag lights, that's probably like the fastest drag lights in the world. Is that car is very unassuming, much like Brian Anderson's. Does not make a whole bunch of rowdy noises and everything, but it is a rocket ship.
There goes number 10 spot. Tyson number 7. How about Roger Holder and Mark Woodruff? This will be another good matchup. The Woody Mart machine on the right-hand side, the big block turbo Corvette. Roger Holder all the way from Bakersfield, California. The long trek out here to South Georgia Motorsports Park.
He's definitely been looking at some property in between here and in California, but it's a long drive. It's like 40 some odd hours. They did leave everything in Bradenton, but every once in a while you got to go back home, and yeah, that's just when you wake up and go to sleep and wake up again, you're still not there. It's tough driving sometimes.
Oh yeah. Or in my case, I took an hour 40-minute flight down here from Washington D.C. yesterday. So here we go, Roger Holder, Mark Woodruff. Still see if they can make a challenge for Man Virginia's 375.6. So right now you got 6 cars in the 3-second zone. Could we have number 7 or number 7 and 8? Here we go. We'll pump out of the Woodruff car. 398.206 for Roger Holder. 437, 144 for Woodruff, 100.460. He saw a little puff out of the headers there. But he'll go number 9. How about Holder go to the number 6 spot?
Not Holder's best by any sense of the means, but 98.206. It is definitely a directional change for that car and team, as it has been fighting them. And that's kind of how the Chevy 2 came about, but they're on the right page now. As I say, number 6 qualifier will hold on to this thing, and it'll give us a little bit of breathing room. We're going to try some things in our next qualifiers. I believe it's Robert Adele, or if you're not from South Georgia, Robert Adele. They told me I pronounced Adele wrong. And I was like, all right. Used to campaign the Mustang here. No longer the 80 model Mustang with the blower. Now the Camaro, the Chevy machine in the right-hand side. Do not have information on. We'll get all the tech cards entered here eventually. Get some information there. It was a mad dash in tech. Dell bumped in. They definitely want to get his name right there on the right-hand side. How about 399.9, 192? It's one way to learn your name. Be sure to yell at them as they come around. My man Zach in the house from FloRacing. What's up? No more roundy round. We going straight line racing now.
That's the same guy I dusted him at World Cup.
Yeah, you put the gap on him. He's looking for some revenge.
Oh, he treated me at World Cup. I'll give him that. But how about this guy, Sean Ayers? But how about when your car owner wears a Super Bowl ring? That's right, folks. Sean Ayers with the man from the Philadelphia Eagles, Fletcher Cox. Coming out of the left-hand side, and David Singletary on the right out of Arizona.
You also got to put some spec on that name there. Sean Ayers, the record holder in Pro 275, has pretty much not been bested all year so far. I think it was Sweet 16, if not No Mercy, where they went the 5, I do believe. Sure, someone out there is like, wrong. Yeah, so just a couple weeks away from me. Hank Stubbs coming at you here, Hueytown, Alabama. The 69 Chevelle owned by Grady Singleton, the Pipe Shop Gangster. In the right lane, left-hand side, that's Luke Turpin. Luke Turpin coming at you here, the supercharged.
Here we go. So we'll be heading down to Hanks from great state of Alabama in April. Alabama. Here we go. Here we go, top of the racetrack. How about it? 414 and only 148 for Hank Stubbs.
Car shut off, Fabian, as the lights went out.
Exactly, so maybe it just shook loose and lost power there, but Turpin goes 431, 169 to go 14th. Hank goes number 13, but Manny Bajinga still holding on to the number 1 spot for the time being.
The Street Outlaw.
No prep. Charlie Cooper and Justin Swanstrom. Well, we've seen a Cadillac and we've seen a Lexus in Pro 275.
We're going to back up a little country here in the right lane. Justin Swanstrom coming at you from Zephyr Hills, the number 3 No Prep King finalist there behind Mr. Kai Kelly and the Ryan Martin there. Got the Pro Line Power Machine, this CJ race car Lexus, built up last year. Put it on a tear as we were a wet t-shirt contest down there in the water box. We actually sprayed Cowboy. So we'll see. We thought we was going to run RVW, but now we said, now let's go ahead and put 275s on it. Went a 20 or so there in Bradenton. We'll see what we can do. Can we put the Lexus in the 3s on Pro 275? Not in testing, but in competition. Big country back there said, come on, son, do your thing. Try to do a little bit of grudge racing there with Illuminati at the South Carolina Jamie Triggerman race, and had a little issue with Bradenton. Couldn't make the race, but they're here. Have lights out 13. Looking for some Pro 275 action as Cooper has built the turbo boost. Swan's going to roll in. Swing, guys. Look at Cooper, 390 with a 2-100, 94 mile an hour, and Swanstrom knocks the tires off and just going to roll on down there. They definitely going to get that thing figured out over some more testing and some more qualifying. I think that was the first time down the racetrack. They'll swing some bars, do some changes, and they'll get it figured out here and see if they can put up a serious number there in Pro 275.
Dirty Bowls coming up out of Douglasville, Georgia, and Nick Agostino out of Markham, Ontario, Canada. And so is there a problem there for the Agostino Camaro as they...
It's good to see the Cannoli Express back at it as the border is open and all the Canadians, they came a running. Michael's not sounding very good at all there. Normally campaigned in the 3rd Gen Camaro, but has since bought the Chevy 2, debuted it there at No Mercy, and going henceforth. See the Bulls hot rod here, left-hand side, Douglasville, Georgia. The Chevy 2 looks pretty sweet here. Got the little section front end, trying to stay legal-ish, pushing the envelope a little bit. Having some issues out there. People are really kind of riding the brakes there. Been banging 48. We're not going to be happy with that one, but